Fox 35 News at 7 starts now.
You sure can. All right, well, the recession has taken its toll on many Americans. This morning, plenty of people are trying to rebuild their finances. One man says he has the answer. He earned the highest rating for ethical stewardship with an investment firm and even kept up his returns during the recession. His name, Jason Voss, and he has a new book out that he says can break down how you can get your finances back on track. He's joining us now live to talk about your finances and his new book. See it right here. It's called The Intuitive Investor. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, you're still young. You retired when you were 35. How'd you do that?
Well, I did so through a combination of hard work, which is no mystery, but I also lived well within my means. I drive a Volkswagen Jetta, for example, which is very unusual for portfolio managers in the investment business. And I saved a lot of money, and I fortunately made some good investment choices, which, of course, are the content of my book, The Intuitive Investor. All
right, so you're talking about living below your means, so don't be keeping up with the Joneses or the Smiths or the Johnsons or whoever. What's the most important investment skill, do you think, for people at home?
Well, of course, there are many. One that I like to highlight for people because it's oftentimes overlooked is to focus on risks before opportunities. Risks are usually very predictable. In fact, the entire insurance industry, which has been around for hundreds of years, is based on that. And so if you focus on those risks and they repeat themselves over and over again, then you're not like swayed by what I'll call the seduction of opportunity, which is where most people spend their investment time, is thinking about how rich they're going to be or how wealthy, and they end up blowing it because they overlook something that's very obvious, like CEO is kind of a jerk.
But you know, Jason, a lot of people might just have a 401k or an IRA, and are those enough to build wealth, or should people do other things? Because a lot of people are just kind of scared to get into the individual markets with individual stocks.
Oh, absolutely. Whether it's an IRA or it's a 401k, my mantra basically is you need to invest all the time. Now, the question is, what do you invest in, obviously? And I'm not necessarily an advocate of investing in stocks exclusively. It's whatever your intuition feels right to you. And oftentimes, your intuition will give you a strong sense of what's correct. So very frequently, it might be invest more money in your house. It could be invest money in your career. So, for example, going back to school is an investment choice to increase and improve your job skills. So those sorts of things shouldn't fall off the radar in terms of where you place your money in terms of your long-term betterment.
So you're saying trust your gut instead of pay attention to news events like a lot of people do, and then they can predict sometimes whether a stock is going to go up or down?
Well, it's somewhat like that. It's like this. There is no such thing as a future fact. All facts are something that occurred in the past, but investing unfolds in the future. So facts and investing are somewhat at cross purposes. And the irony, of course, is that most professional investors, most investors are obsessed with the facts, but they never answer the question, do I buy or sell? That's an emotional choice. And so I would say a missing piece for most people's repertoire is their intuition. And the intuition, especially if it's really refined, which is what my book is about, and how to refine that, there's usually a pretty clear indication of what makes sense for you.
Okay, we have a lot of foreclosures here, short sales. What would you say to people who might have lost a job? Maybe they used up their 401k. Maybe they're retirees who pulled a lot of money when the market went south. What would you tell them?
Well, I mean, obviously that's a difficult situation. I mean, the first thing to do is get rid of the certainties in the budget that you have to pay. So, for example, if you have too much credit card debt, I would certainly recommend that people pay down their credit card debt. If you have like an 18% interest rate, that's basically like having an 18% return if you were to invest that in some sort of other investment. So, obviously, you have to pay down your credit cards. The other thing, of course, is to protect yourself. And by protecting yourself, I mean, you do have to have some sense of savings, or you have to have savings set aside so that when you do lose your job or you go through a situation like that, you have to protect yourself. I wish there was a magic bullet, but there just isn't.
Yeah, but you're right about the credit card debt, because you're right. If you're paying 18%, you're really getting 18% back when you pay it off, and that beats the stock market a lot of times.
Well, absolutely it does. And my feeling is, at the time of my retirement 5 years ago, I had told my successor, I said, you know what, I think we'll be lucky to get 3 to 5% returns over the next decade. And I really felt that that was the case, and so far that's been borne out.
All right. Well, Jason, thank you so much, and congratulations on the book, The Intuitive Investor. Jason Voss, thank you so much, joining us live from New York City. Heidi.
He's inspired me. I want to retire when I'm 35. Right now, though.